known Monica for quite some time. When I was 16, I got pregnant, and my mother was insisting that I get an abortion, and I said no. And I moved out, and then she scheduled what was to be my first OB appointment, and I went with the father of my child, who was a lot older than me, who had his own family and life already. And it ended up that Dr. Hadari held me down and did an abortion on me against my will. He told me that if I moved, I could die, and it would be over in 5 minutes, and I could go on with my life. And that moment in time changed every part of my life. Years later, I went to Project Rachel. My mother had set that up, and I didn't know. So he never got in trouble for that. But I just went on a Rachel's Vineyard retreat with a cousin of mine about a month ago here in Michigan. And while we were on the retreat, I felt moved to ask the father of the child to write a letter to our son. And this is what he wrote. I'm going to let my father read the introduction part, but these are his words.
Good morning. Nice to see everybody here today. And no longer with Jennifer's mother. Many, many years. I have a very wonderful lady who feels as you do. And I was not aware of what happened with Jennifer. That doesn't excuse me at all. But I found out later, and over the years I've evolved through Jennifer to believe a whole different way anyway. And perhaps this state-sanctioned nightmare will end soon, I hope. And even sometimes it's very much overlooked by those in the religious community. But it is a terrible thing. By the way of introduction, I'd like to say that the words contained in Jennifer's letter are not to be considered as a lone voice crying in the wilderness, but we're united with those words and thoughts of millions of fathers and grandfathers who continue to suffer with relentless anguish and still seek forgiveness for what has been done. Seeking forgiveness for the unthinkable act of denying God-given birth to a defenseless body and soul, which she has already placed in the womb of life. Thank you so much.
Dear Austin Christopher, today you would be a much younger version of me if I had allowed you to be born. Each day, something or someone is born. Flowers are born, the morning star is born, but you were not born. Through our fault, my most lifelong grievous fault. Your mother, who today lives in another state, really hesitated. No one tried to dissuade us from that fateful decision. I have been angry with myself for not saying no to the atrocity that we committed. Many times I wish I could go back in time and change so many things. But time machines don't exist. They are not part of the structure of our reality, and we have to live out the consequences of our decisions. The only way we have to travel in time is through our mind and our soul, our own soul. You were just waiting to see the light, my son, and that light was taken from you by the decisions that were made at a time I was not strong enough to carry out my Catholic beliefs. I denied you the morning, the afternoon, the night, the dawn, water, heat, cold, books, symphonies, poems, friendships, the bridge in our city, the smell of rain falling on the earth, lullabies, bread and wine. I denied you smiles and tears. I denied you eyes, hands, a heart. I denied you the right to cry out for your mother and father. I denied you the right to be born. The only thing I didn't deny you was that which I could not. The fact that you are in the gentle arms of our Creator that already and always belong to you. If only I had known how much it hurts and how it affected your wonderful mother. If only I had known it hurt so much, son. I recall the Bible passages of the slaughter of the holy innocents by King Herod. I write these words after the distance and the decades that have passed, but it seems as if my sin had been committed yesterday. Even though it's been confessed, your loss is ever present in my mind. It is a constant and eternal goodbye in my life. St. Thomas Aquinas said, all of us will be reborn at the age of Christ. Today, somewhere in heaven, you exist at the age of 33. You have a name, a face, and a voice that are unknown to me. Sometimes I wonder who you would have been. A doctor, an engineer, a musician, a mathematician, a philosopher, a professor, a priest, a worker or carpenter. On the day we meet, my son, after leaving behind the sorrow of this shallow existence, I will hold your hands in mine, and I will hug you with all that is in my soul. And you already know what my first words will be. Forgive me, son. Sometimes I pray that you exist in the next life for the sole purpose of forgiving me. That is one of the ways I am able to get through the remainder of my days and hope that I too will see the face of God as you now do. Love, your Father.